You might look at Gemini from a distance and think it is just one simple type of person. But there is a hidden detail that quietly changes everything. It is not just the birthday on the calendar or the sun in Gemini in a generic sense. What truly reshapes the Gemini experience is the decan they are born into, the 10-day slice of the zodiac that colors their mind, their heart, and the way their energy moves through the world. There are three very different faces of Gemini, three distinct currents inside the same sign. One is the pure voice of communication, a soul born to speak and translate feelings into words with almost supernatural ease. Another is the thinker-artist, with a mind tuned to beauty, meaning, and subtle nuance. And the last is the wild explorer of reality, so curious and unpredictable that they seem to live half in this world and half in the next. Once you understand these three decans, you never look at Gemini the same way again. Before we dive into them, take a moment and bring yourself into this story. Drop your date of birth and your zodiac sign in the comments. When you share it, you give the universe permission to speak to you in a more direct way. And here on Astro Gemini, we read those comments as part of a living constellation. And if you feel that this kind of guidance finds you at the right time, remember to subscribe to Astro Gemini so you don't miss the messages that are meant for you. The first decan of Gemini, often called the pure communicator, runs roughly from May 21st Street to May 31st. These are the Geminis ruled most intensely by Mercury, the planet of thought, words, and quicksilver awareness. You can notice this from childhood. They are the ones who start forming sentences early, asking endless questions, narrating everything they see as if life were a movie and they were the commentator. Where others search for words, they reach for them effortlessly, as if language is not something they learned but something they remember. For this Gemini, expression is not a hobby, it is a life force. Their voice carries the electricity of their mind. They can explain complex ideas with simple metaphors, turn a heavy silence into laughter with one perfectly timed joke, or build a bridge between people just by saying out loud what everyone else is secretly thinking. Whether they are talking to a close friend, a stranger at a bus stop, or a crowd of thousands, there is something magnetic in the way they speak. They do not just talk. They hold attention. They shape the emotional temperature of a room, and they leave people feeling lighter, clearer, or strangely understood. This is why so many first decan Geminis gravitate toward work that involves words or ideas: writing, teaching, content creation, journalism, sales, public speaking. But it goes deeper than career. Conversation itself is their art form. They instinctively adjust their tone, rhythm, and vocabulary depending on who they are with. Around someone shy, they soften. Around someone intense, they match the fire with wit. They understand that communication is not only about what is said, but how it is delivered. Like music, it needs timing, pacing, and emotional honesty. Underneath the bright social surface, though, there is a side of these Geminis that many people never see. The stereotype is that they are constantly surrounded by people, and that they need noise and interaction to feel alive. But the truth is far more interesting. First decan Geminis often treasure their private time just as much as they enjoy company. When the world quiets down and they are finally alone, their mind spreads out like a night sky full of ideas, stories, memories, and possibilities. Solitude, for them, is not emptiness. It is a workshop. It is where they replay conversations in their head and notice what was really said behind the words. It is where they rewrite the story, turn experience into understanding, and understanding into something they can eventually share. These are the nights when they journal, draft posts, record voice notes, or simply think in loops until an idea becomes clear. Many of their most brilliant phrases and insights are born in those silent hours when no one is watching. Because their mind is so active, they rarely feel bored when they are alone. Other people might reach for their phone to escape their thoughts, but a first decan Gemini often dives into those thoughts like a deep ocean. They connect thoughts, revisit memories, imagined different futures. This is what gives them that steady core beneath the social butterfly image. A sense of inner self that is built not on how many people are listening, but on how honest their own mind feels when the crowd disappears. This inner independence means they do not need constant validation to feel worthy. They enjoy attention, yes, and they often receive it without even trying, but they do not live off it. Their confidence comes from knowing they can rely on their intelligence, their words, and their ability to adapt. When they walk into a new environment, they quickly read the room. Who is tense? Who is curious? Who is pretending to be fine but isn't? Then their communication shifts to meet what the moment needs. Because they listen as carefully as they speak, they are surprisingly good at reading between the lines. A pause, an awkward laugh, a change in someone's eyes. They absorb it all. This makes them not only entertaining, but deeply persuasive. They can present ideas in a way that feels natural, never forced, and yet hard to resist. In leadership, sales, law, teaching, or any situation where influence is key, their Mercury-blessed tongue is a quiet superpower. They do not have to shout to win people over. They simply explain things in a way that makes sense to both mind and heart. And still, when the day ends, the same person who is making everyone laugh at the center of the party can disappear into their room and feel completely at ease in silence. They know that if they stay plugged into others all the time, their voice loses its clarity. So they step back. They let their energy recalibrate. They allow their thoughts to fall into place. That balance between engagement and retreat, between speaking and listening to themselves, is what makes this decan so special. Now we move into the second decan of Gemini. From roughly June 1st to June 10th, the realm of the thinker-artist, guided by Venus moving through an air sign. Here, the Gemini mind is still sharp and fast, but it is also wrapped in a sense of beauty, proportion, and emotional sensitivity. These Geminis feel the world as much as they analyze it. A shadow on the wall, the way someone phrases a sentence, the smell of rain on warm pavement. Nothing is just random detail. Everything is a symbol, a texture, a piece of a bigger pattern. Their soul is quietly their intelligence is not cold or detached. It is warm, poetic, and deeply intuitive. They are the kind of people who can read a single line in a book and feel their entire life reflected in it. A melody can stay with them for weeks, not just as sound, but as a feeling they keep revisiting. Where other people might rush past an experience, the second decan Gemini slows down internally, turning it over in their mind to see all the meanings it holds. They are natural observers of the human condition, philosophers disguised as ordinary people. Because Venus rules this slice of Gemini, many of them are drawn to the arts. Music, design, film, photography, writing, dance, or any path where feeling and form meet. It is not enough for them to understand an idea. They want to express it in a way that is beautiful or moving. They are the friends who send you the perfect song when you are heartbroken. The writers who describe emotions you never had words for. The quiet creators turning their daydreams into something you can see or hear. They are social, yes, but they are not satisfied with surface-level interaction. Small talk drains them quickly. What feeds them is a conversation where the mask drops, where someone talks about their fears, their dreams, the way childhood still echoes in adulthood. Sit them down with a cup of coffee and a willing heart, and hours can pass without either of you noticing. They will ask questions that go beyond "how are you?" and into a "you are you" beneath the roles you play. At the same time, they need long stretches of time alone. Solitude for the second decan Gemini is a sacred studio. It is where their thoughts stretch out, where half-formed images sharpen, where loose words finally click into a poem, a script, a song, a business idea, or simply a new understanding of themselves. Their mind is painting, editing, composing, building invisible structures that sooner or later will become something others can experience. Some people misunderstand this need for space and label them as detached. But detachment is not what is happening here. What looks like distance is often deep engagement with life on an inner level. While others chase distraction to avoid thinking too much, the second decan Gemini allows themselves to wander through their own thoughts like a library. They are not afraid of their inner world. They are fascinated by it. That is why they rarely feel truly bored. There is always another idea to follow, another memory to understand, another feeling to translate into words, art, or action. Their presence in a room is usually gentle yet unforgettable. They do not need to dominate a conversation to leave a mark. A single insight, a carefully chosen phrase, a quiet observation at the right moment. Those things can stay with people for days. They tilt your perspective just a little, and suddenly you see your own life differently. If this energy resonates with you so far, take a second to like this video. It may seem small, but it helps these messages travel to more people who feel the same invisible pull from the universe, because they notice symbolism, emotion, and subtle shifts in energy. Many second decan Geminis become the confidants of their social circles. People sense that they are safe here, that their secrets will be held with care, that their pain will not be minimized or mocked. This can make these Geminis both deeply cherished and, at times, emotionally tired. This is another reason they return to solitude, to lay everything out, sort through what belongs to them and what doesn't, and come back to their own center. They do not seek validation loudly because deep down they know their mind and their heart have value. Their creative vision may not always be understood immediately, but they trust it. Over time, the world often catches up to what they saw first. To them, life is meant to be read slowly, underlined, and felt. Now we step into the third decan of Gemini. From around June 11th to June 20th, the kingdom of Uranus, the planet of disruption, innovation, and lightning strike insight. If the first decan is the voice, and the second is the artist philosopher, the third is the rebel mind, the cosmic explorer. These Geminis do not just think outside the box. They question why the box exists in the first place. Staying the same, repeating the same patterns, living the same day over and over again, that feels like a slow death to them. Their curiosity is not polite or orderly. It is wild, electric, and impossible to shut off. They poke at reality from all angles. Why is it done this way? What if we tried something else? What happens if we break this old rule? While others are content to follow the map, third decan Geminis want to draw new maps entirely. They are the children who take apart toys to see how they work, the teenagers who question every authority, the adults who constantly reinvent their career, their style, their beliefs, their life, direction. They learn best through experience. Conventional classrooms strict routines, rigid systems. These things rarely hold their attention for long. They need movement, experimentation, and room to fail, adjust, and try again. One week they are learning about astrology. The next, they are obsessed with technology, psychology, fashion, music production, or some obscure niche interest nobody around them has heard of yet. By the time the world catches up, they are already exploring the next frontier. What makes them so fascinating is not just the amount of topics they touch, but the way they connect them. They see connections. Others miss. A conversation about a movie turns into a discussion about human nature, which turns into a brainstorm about the future of society. Being around them can feel like standing in a storm of ideas, intense, thrilling, and unforgettable. Of course, this level of mental movement comes with restlessness. Third decan Geminis often find it hard to stay in one place, physically, emotionally, or mentally, for too long. Jobs that feel repetitive, relationships that become too predictable, environments that never change. These things can make them feel trapped. When that feeling sets in, their instinct is to shake things up, sometimes suddenly. They may quit, move, change, or disappear into a new phase of life, seemingly overnight. To people who prefer stability, this can be confusing or even painful. But for the Uranian Gemini, change is not a crisis. It is a calling. Underneath that unpredictability, however, there is wisdom. They know that life is fluid, that everything is temporary, that clinging too tightly to what is safe can kill possibility. So they practiced a kind of spiritual flexibility, releasing what no longer matches their frequency and trusting that the next chapter will reveal itself. They are not reckless for the sake of drama. They are compelled forward by a deep inner knowing that there is always more to explore, more to invent, more to become. In relationships, they are drawn to people who stimulate their mind and respect their freedom. They cannot breathe in connections that demand rigid roles, blind loyalty, or emotional cages. They need partners and friends who can surprise them, challenge them, and walk beside them on ever-shifting ground. Give them honesty, mental chemistry, and room to grow, and they can be fiercely loyal in their own unconventional way. Like the other decans, third decan Geminis also move between social worlds and solitude. Their alone time may not look calm from the outside. They might be researching, building, creating, starting 10 projects at once. But internally, this is where they recharge. Being free to follow their curiosity without explanation allows their genius to surface. Many of their most innovative ideas are born when they step away from expectations and allow themselves to wander mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. So when you put the three decans together, the communicator, the think, and the rebel mind, you begin to see why Gemini is so hard to define with one sentence. This sign is not just talkative or inconsistent. It is a living constellation of different expressions of air, thought, and movement. Some Geminis are born to give words to what others feel. Some are here to turn life into art and insight. And some are meant to break patterns and open doors to futures we have not imagined yet. If you are a Gemini, or if someone important in your life carries this sign, notice which decan feels closest to your essence. Notice where your energy sits, in the love of conversation, in the depth of reflection, or in the thrill of reinvention. And remember, no decan is better than the others. There are 3 different melodies playing inside the same zodiac sign. 3 different ways the universe chose to express Gemini energy through time and personality. As you listen to this, You might feel pieces of yourself lighting up in recognition. A childhood memory, a pattern in your relationships, a way your mind has always worked. If that happens, honor it. Type your date of birth and zodiac sign in the comments as a conscious act of self-recognition, like leaving your energetic signature here with the Astro Gemini community. And if this journey through the 3 types of Gemini helped you understand yourself or someone you love a little better, remember to like this video and subscribe to Astro Gemini so these messages keep flowing into your life at the right moment. Let this be a reminder that you are not random. Your timing, your decan, your way of thinking, none of it is accidental. The sky wrote a pattern into you, and you have spent your whole life slowly discovering what it means. If you want to hear everything the universe has to say to you, watch these other videos on our channel.